again, everyone, and welcome inside another edition of the Adam Jones podcast presented by the Baltimore Banner. I'm Jerry Coleman. He's the former five-time All-Star Adam Jones, back in the U.S. at an undisclosed location. I'm back in Baltimore at an undisclosed location. Today on episode 37, we're going to be joined by big-time collector Billy Manzo, straight out of California via New York. We'll talk to him about the collectibles industry as we head towards the All-Star break. What's the next big ticket item out there, and some of his Baltimore connections. He and Adam have a history. We'll hear all about that. Speaking of history, Adam's been to the All-Star Game, as I mentioned. We'll get his thoughts on the Midsummer Classic. He's going to participate this year. No, he wasn't elected by the fans or by any of the teams, but he is going as a softball player. So we'll get into Adam playing in the Midsummer Classic celebrity softball game. He's got his mitt with him and even found a softball. We'll find out how active he's been playing that sport. And we'll also talk about returning to Seattle, where his major league career once began, and the fact that Seattle now is hosting the All-Star Game for the second time in the last 30 years, or ever since the Orioles last hosted an All-Star Game I was fortunate to be at back in 1993, and why it's been 30 years in between and going All-Star games at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. But first, we bring in our aforementioned guest. He is Billy Manzo, big-time collector, friend of the podcast, joining us here. And Billy, first of all, thanks for taking the time and being here. We bumped a lot of people to have you on because we know your time is very valuable. I want to start by asking you, first of all, how do you and Adam know each other, and how did you get into collecting? Or are those two intertwined?
Oh, man, we got enough time, Jerry? It's a long story.
All right, give us the Cliff Notes version.
So I grew up in New York and grew up a Yankees fan. And I decided one day I was going with my father to a game, and I had never caught a major league ball. Never in my life had I caught a ball at a major league game. And the Orioles were in town. So my father had went to the hat store, bought me an Orioles hat, and I believe it was Robinson Cano. This was about 2000, early 2010s. Robinson Cano flies out, and Adam Jones makes the catch for the third out, throws me a ball at the end of the inning, and pretty much the rest was history. I said, you know what? This guy's my favorite player of all time. First ball I had ever gotten at a major league game. And for the next 2-3 years, every time Baltimore would come to New York, I would always go down towards the dugout, cheer on the team. And I guess Adam, over time, recognized me at the games and handed me a game-used bat. On top of the dugout, handed me a game-used bat and said that this was a gift from him and the guys for always like rooting for them when they were in New York on the road.
Was that the beginning of your collection?
It was. I was collecting trading cards at the time, but for memorabilia, that was probably my first and coolest piece I ever owned.
Well, you have to start at the bottom and work your way up.
It was very cool. It was very surreal for me. I had never experienced anything like that. And long story short, I had just gotten to college. This was around 2015, a few years after he had given me all the bats and blah, blah, blah. I took all the money I had, which wasn't much. I donated it in Adam's name to the Boys and Girls Club of Baltimore and San Diego. And I sent him on social media a screenshot of me doing that. And he reached out and said that he had never seen anybody, as young as me, even think about giving back to his community like that. And I guess it meant a lot to him. And we started talking then, and it's been almost 10 years now. I've been talking to Adam. It's been pretty cool for me.
Tell the truth, you're a thorn in my ass. Tell the truth, okay?
Yeah, he'll say that too. But
no,
we've had our moments. It's been really
cool.
You're
a good dude, man. You love the game. That's the best part about you. You genuinely love the game. You love players. We talk so much beyond just like, okay, a trading card. We talk about the game. We talk about strategy. You still think you can get some people out. We talk about all those kind of things, the fantasy. But obviously with the All-Star Game coming up, memorabilia is, obviously we talk about the time, skyrockets, takes a dip, and do all this other stuff. All-Star Game memorabilia, where does that really rank up in terms of current value for, I guess, like a Trout who's been there 10 times versus Ohtani, this is fifth, but is this his last in that uniform?
So, when you're talking about the All-Star Game, obviously it's a great honor to play in the All-Star Game. A lot of guys don't get to experience it, let alone multiple times. Obviously you're very lucky to play in it, a few times. The memorabilia is definitely harder to come by. And, most guys, when they play in the All-Star Game, they keep that stuff. That stuff doesn't make it to auction houses. It doesn't make it, in a private collector's hands. Typically, the All-Star stuff, like Adam will tell you, he has all of his jerseys he wore in the All-Star games. He has sign balls from the rosters. Those are they're worth money, and it's stuff that I'm sure if it hits auction blocks would do very well. And talking about, game used jerseys, I'm sure, some of the Ohtani signed jerseys from the All-Star game that he didn't even wear in the All-Star game. I remember in Colorado back in Denver, some of those jerseys signed, you couldn't even go to the team store and buy them. They were sold out. You could go to the team store in Colorado during the All-Star game. You couldn't even buy Ohtani jerseys. They were sold out by the time you got in the store. And people were flipping them for thousands of dollars. Unsigned jerseys. Signed ones.
Would it be smart for me, since I got the access? So it'd be smart. Like, hey, Ohtani, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? Let me get that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you need a couple dollars from it, but
hey,
there's definitely some money to be made. I remember his signed jerseys that he didn't even wear in the game were going for about $20,000-$30,000.
What's the value? But I got one. It's a 1-1 signed Team Samurai jersey, Ohtani. What is that value?
Well, it's not something he wore, is it? It is. Oh, game used Ohtani jerseys, you're talking unsigned $30,000 to $50,000. Easy.
Wow.
Easy.
That's if you go to the current players out there. What is the big ticket item out there in terms of something maybe that you're looking for that is very valuable, that everyone's seeking, that maybe will go for a record price coming up? Because it seems like records are being set on a weekly, if not monthly basis these days, Billy.
I mean, right now, Adam brings up the best guy, Ohtani. Ohtani is like the hottest guy when it comes to memorabilia right now. His stuff has, in the past 6 weeks, has doubled, if not tripled in value. People are paying crazy out the wazoo for his stuff. And anybody who's lucky enough, it is very hard to find Shohei Ohtani game used stuff. It does not hit the auction market very often at all. And I'm assuming now that game used signed memorabilia, especially jerseys, are probably fetching $40,000 to $60,000, if not more.
We have lots more ahead with collector Billy Manzo here on the Adam Jones podcast, but we got to tell you about a big time event coming right here to Baltimore. Adam and I doing a live podcast. Here's more of the details on that and a word from our dedicated sponsors.
The Adam Jones Podcast with Adam Jones and Jerry Coleman will be live, and you can be part of the audience and meet Adam for the first time since he played for the O's. It all goes down on Thursday, July 27th at 8 p.m. Doors open at 7, and tickets are limited but now on sale. Go to BaltimoreSoundstage.com or Ticketmaster.com or call 410-244-0057 to be a part of the action. This will be the first time Adam and Jerry have done the podcast in the same spot, and who knows, maybe the last. So don't miss this unique night. The Adam Jones Podcast, live at Soundstage July 27th. See you there. The Adam Jones Podcast is brought to you by our good friends at the Weinman Company. By Hollywood Casino Perryville. For some, it's a game of chance, but for you, it's a game of choice. Hollywood and Barstool are bringing you more ways to bet in Maryland. Catch all the action in person at Hollywood Casino Perryville at the Barstool Sportsbook, or bet online with the Barstool Sportsbook app. When you download the Barstool Sportsbook app, register, and wager, you can get up to $1,000 bonus cash, plus up to $1,000 when you sign up and wager in person at Hollywood Casino Perryville. Play from anywhere and get up to $2,000. The choice is yours. Must be in the state of Maryland to wager and over 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER. By Jack Daniels, 2 legends, 1 can. Jack and Coke, the #1 cocktail in the world, is now available in a can. Yes, that's true. Jack Daniels Tennessee Whiskey, mixed with Coca-Cola or Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, are now both available in a can. 2 legends, 1 can. Jack and Coke, ready to drink? Please drink responsibly. Whiskey Specialty, 7% alcohol by volume. Jack Daniels Tennessee Whiskey, Lynchburg, Tennessee. By G-Leaf, medical cannabis only. Visit gleaf.com. Medical cannabis is for qualified Maryland patients only. The Adam Jones Podcast is brought to you by Royal Farms. Download the Royal Farms app from the Apple App Store or Google Play today. New Royal Farms Rewards members will get a free any-size cup of Royal Farms award-winning coffee just for signing up.
Sure smells like Royal Farms fried chicken.
Best fast food fried chicken in America. You ever try it? Hey, you hungry? Royal Farms world famous chicken. If you haven't tried it, you don't know what you're missing.
And a reminder, if you guys are enjoying this podcast, make sure to check out the Baltimore Banner at thebaltimorebanner.com/AJ to get started. Again, that's thebaltimorebanner.com/AJ to get 6 months of unlimited digital access for only $1.
We've got more with big-time collector Billy Manzo as we continue our conversation right here on the Adam Jones Podcast.
Not the biggest names in the game. What about this surge of just absolute stud prospects? Obviously, we had Jackson Holiday on a couple weeks ago, and #1 prospect in baseball, Ellie De La Cruz, and you know a lot of the younger names, a lot quicker. Like, what's that market going for in the anticipation?
So you bring up a good point in Ellie De La Cruz, who obviously just hit his first home run a few weeks ago. And there was a huge debate over the home run ball he hit, his first home run.
And we talked about that here on the podcast, whether or not you would give it back or keep it for a king's ransom.
So it's one of those items, obviously, it's one of a kind. And it's only worth as much as the highest bidder is willing to pay for it. So you never know. That could be a ball worth $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. Depends how high someone wants to go on it. But something like that the ceiling on it is incredible. With these young guys, these prospects, you never know. They could be a one-year wonder. They could go on to have Hall of Fame careers. It's actually the younger guys whose memorabilia most people tend to lean towards buying just because of the ceiling. Like, everybody knows Mike Trout's going to be a Hall of Famer. Mike Trout's going to be a Hall of Famer. People are paying as if Mike Trout's already going to be a Hall of Famer for his items. That's like, for example, a few years ago, Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter wasn't in the Hall of Fame yet, but everybody knew Derek Jeter was going to be a Hall of Famer. Unanimous or not, everybody knew he was going to be a Hall of Famer. So people were paying Hall of Fame prices for his memorabilia. With these young guys, it's a little bit tougher because you never know who's only going to last a year, 2 years. You're investing in somebody's future when you're buying their memorabilia. So the ceiling it's limitless.
We heard Adam mention some of his collectibles. Is there an athlete, you deal with a lot of them out there, Billy, that you know of, whether it be baseball, basketball, whatever sport, that has a massive collection they're holding on to?
Oh, yeah. There are some guys who've got some. Speaking of Mr. Jones, Adam's probably have one of the best collections I've ever seen, because Adam was very adamant about collecting stuff when he was playing between the cleats and the jerseys. But I know another buddy of mine, Mike Trout, has a very cool collection when it comes to memorabilia, trading cards. He's got jerseys, cleats, very cool cards. He's got a lot of great stuff. And I'm sure there's plenty of other guys who collect stuff. It's guys want to collect stuff of people they played against. Because it's stuff they can pass down to their kids and tell stories like, this is how I knew this guy, this is how I knew this guy, and this is why he was so important to the game.
Is there, real quickly, I wanted to ask Adam, is there a piece of memorabilia that maybe just fell into your hands that maybe you didn't anticipate would be of value? We've heard about players picking up jerseys off a locker room floor and they being valuable one of these days in the future. Is there something maybe you found that you didn't realize at that moment it was valuable that turned into a keepsake that went for a high price or still is very valuable?
I would say Adam's bat, but it ain't worth nothing now.
That was a good one.
I can get a few bucks for that, but
this right here, man, this is worth something, okay? This is worth
Appraise that.
It's worth more than the paper it's printed on. I'll tell you that.
$43.
Really? 40? That's your guess?
I got no idea, man. And somebody pay something.
Adam is holding up his rookie card, I believe, right there.
This ain't a rookie card, man. Rookie card.
No. Rookie
No,
would
just
be
a
there.
signed card. Signed card.
You know what I mean?
You're looking at about probably $10-15. I won't lie to you, about $10-15.
I got a lot of them. I take.
That's the one thing I'll say about Adam was very good about signing for the fans.
Yep.
When he played, he
only
was very
charged
good
me
about signing
$5.
for the fans, which kind of hurt his market, but it people want collectibles, and Adam was giving them out like they were in style. So
It's okay. Hey, I'd rather you call me one time and I just get it done than you call me 10 times for the same exact thing.
yeah, I mean that brings up a good story. One of the first times I had met Adam after that whole experience with the bat, I had shown up to the stadium with some cards, and I was barking at him. Mind you, I was, 15, 16 years old. I was barking at this guy for signatures, and Adam very politely told me to shut my mouth. So
yeah, I'm sure he didn't say it that way either. But we've
yeah.
talked about this in the past. I mean, there was a point when you were a kid getting these autographs. Now are you pushing kids out of the way to get that ball autographed?
Oh, am I pushing kids out of the way?
No, but we see that quite a bit. I know that annoys Adam. It annoys me.
Big time.
Of course. No, I've seen Adam many times with interacting with fans. I've seen it a lot with adults, and a lot of adults pushing their own children to get autographs just for the sake of flipping them online. It was definitely a problem. It still is a problem. It happens a lot. It happens.
I want to ask you this. We talked about the other day about when teams do giveaways, and the Ohtani Trout giveaway was the other night. The Hawaiian shirt with the Orioles was given, and various ones. I always say give it during the middle of the week so you can draw a bigger fan. The weekend fans are going to come no matter what. What goes on behind the scenes really when you're trying to get one of these figurines?
So I'm known for showing up. I get to the ballpark very early. I like to go to batting practice. So usually by the time I get to the stadium, I'm usually the first in line for the giveaway anyway, so I always get mine. But just watching right before game time, the fans coming in for the bobbleheads, it was outrageous the other night when I was at Angel Stadium for the Ohtani Trout bobblehead. People were screaming, people were clawing at each other just to grab these bobbleheads. The ticket attendants at the gates had to hold them back, hold the fans back, hold the bobbleheads back. There were fans jumping the ropes to where they were keeping the bobbleheads and literally grabbing whole boxes of them, like dozens of them, and just running off with them. People were shoving and pushing each other. I swear to God, I saw one guy walk in. They told him they had no more bobbleheads. He started screaming all these profanities and started punching walls in the stadium.
It's like, are you there for the game or the bobblehead?
Oh, they're there for the bobblehead. 100% there for the bobblehead. I've been to a dozen Angels games this season. That was the biggest crowd I've seen, and Ohtani wasn't even pitching. And that's usually when they draw crowds. Yeah, and just for a bobblehead. And it's funny because you see people walking in with none of them, all disappointed, and then you see people walking around with about half a dozen of them. I'm like, man, how are you not getting jumped in the stadium for one of your bobbleheads right now? People want one that bad.
So fans who catch balls, memorabilia, get things signed by players at in a batting practice before games, what's the best route and the best route, I should say, to get the authentication of it and to make sure that that you just don't have a story like, hey, I got this signed by this player.
Well, when it comes to home run balls, foul balls, it is very tough to authenticate them because the authenticators sit in the dugout. Major League Baseball has authenticators who sit in the dugout who put, stickers on each item with holograms so you can look up when the item was used, who used it, and it just gives you that authenticity of the item. It is very hard to prove that you have a foul ball or a home run from a specific player without that. And honestly, if it's not a milestone type of item that goes into the stands, you're never going to get that authenticity on it anyway. So it's basically word of mouth and believing the person who caught it that it's this ball from this hitter or whatever. So most balls that go into the stands aren't worth much. They're worth as much as a baseball is.
Talking with big-time collector Billy Manzo here on the Adam Jones podcast. We talked about, players and how they interact with fans. But what about the reputation of some of these memorabilia dealers out there? Some of them do have shady reputations. How much has the industry been cleaned up over the years from what you've witnessed?
Mm-hmm. Well, everybody's always out there looking to make a quick buck. We're in a world where, there's a lot of shady things that go on out there. A lot of people are always looking to make a quick buck. In today's world, I'll say, though, especially in the memorabilia world, there is a lot more proof, a lot more authenticity. There's a lot of great, companies out there that are willing to, put their name on specific signatures and items, claiming that it's authentic. And the authentication process today is a lot better than I imagined 20, 30 years ago. So there's paperwork for everything now. You can get anything authenticated. It's a very easy thing to do. So it's very hard to hide the fact that something is, real or fake.
Outside of baseball, what else is big in the collectibles world? That show King of Collectibles was recently on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
They highlighted Apple computers, Pokemon cards, all sorts of things. I don't know if they're more valuable than baseball or sports memorabilia, but there seems to be an interest out there, Billy.
I mean, everything is worth something to somebody. That's the easiest way I could put that. Everybody's heard the saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Everything has value. People collect what they like. I collect sports cards. A lot of people think that's weird, but I do, Some people, like you said, collect Apple computers and are willing to pay a lot of money for them. I don't see the point in it, but, there's a collector out there for everything. There really is a collector out there for everything. I know people who would collect Adam's chewed gum. I know people who would collect, Adam's used pants, but everybody's got their collection.
We were at my house and I was signing pants. I'm like, what are you gonna wear these? Like, what are you gonna do? But before we let you go, I just want to tell you I appreciate one of the coolest things you've ever given me is the home run base. When I hit home run, Mariano Rivera, he signed the base. I think it was second base.
Yeah, I believe it was second base.
Second base. So that's like one of the coolest things that I was able to get from fans' perspective. Because again, I can get things from different players. It's easy to get that. It's asking for an autograph. That's always really easy. But for a fan to give you something that like dope for Mariano Rivera, that's pretty cool. So salute you for that, for adding to my collection.
Of course, yeah. I know it's obviously as a player you get a lot of gifts and fans want to give you a lot of things, but I know that one was a memorable one. So
sure,
I'm glad you enjoyed that one.
Billy, appreciate you coming on. I know you're going to be spending some time with Adam at the All-Star Game. We're going to talk about that coming up in just a few moments. But don't hold back if you got any interesting stories after that All-Star experience with Adam. We want to hear those, and we'll just keep them between ourselves before we.
Yeah, we will. We'll have some good ones.
All right. Be well, and thanks for coming on.
Appreciate guys. Appreciate it.
All right, Billy Manzo joining us, and you guys have quite a history. So all it took was for him to catch a ball from you in the stands and make a donation and be a good guy and pester you. And that's sort of the way you and I came together without the donation. I never made the donation.
I mean, it's those are simple things, but he's a kid with a good heart and loves the game of baseball. And obviously, you like me, Machado, he supported in Scope. But not even just, in Baltimore, when Scope and Manny got traded, when I went to Arizona, going to Japan, he bought jerseys for all of us. Like, he goes and still supports us three more than I think other guys because we were his guys for Baltimore. Obviously still a Yankee fan, but he's an overall fan of the game. So I just appreciated the fact that he was persistent but wanted to get better and wanted to learn the game and wanted to be around it. He wasn't the guy who was trying to take advantage of his opportunities. He's just a guy who just wanted to be around the game and hang out with the guys. So I always brought him around. So it's going to be fun with him in Seattle. I'm going to tell him, don't try to get everything, son.
Time now to venture beyond Baltimore as we move along here on the podcast. And Adam, you're moving along out west to Seattle somehow. You were invited to participate in the All-Star Celebrity Softball Game. How did you get that invite? Who did you have to coax, or was just being a former Mariner enough? And how did this all come together seriously? Because it's going to be very cool to see you.
I pulled some strings to get it. I was like, I started my career there. I think it'd be a cool thing to do. Have some fun. I'm gonna be there no matter what. Anyway, so let's just have some fun. So now I'm out here in the Hamptons trying to get Reggie and the family to help me work on my softball swing. I should be playing short third when I filled out the positions and stuff. I said short third, center field. Maybe center field is too ambitious. But, no, it's going to be fun. I've seen it many times as an all-star and as a fan. And it's just a good time getting around other athletes and other people, celebrities, chefs, and just very cool people. So why not? You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll talk about some of the other celebrities that are going to be there. Some I've never heard of, so I don't know if they're celebrities.
I'm going to make sure that I try to get, everything on the IG Live and all that kind of stuff. And, try to get some of them people on the podcast. You never know who is really cool and worldwide that might be, it might spark the interest.
Well, I expect you to do some networking for the Adam Jones podcast while in Seattle. But again, how much softball have you really been playing? When was the last time you actually played competitive softball?
The last swing I took was the home run I hit in Japan. That is the last swing with a baseball bat, okay?
Period.
Period. Playing around or anything. I ain't picked up a bat since. It's all been golf, paddle. And so I'm excited to do it. Reggie's going to throw me some BP here today. Out here, we got a beautiful spread out here in the Hamptons. So going to see if I can launch some. And I'm really going to try to hit the ball over the big fence, not the little makeshift one they put. I'm trying to go bridge, big boy, and I'm trying to dive and make a catch. And then I'm trying to get in the ice tubs afterwards because I miss it. Yeah,
you don't want to embarrass yourself. That's for sure.
True, I don't.
Major leaguer.
Don't. And Jenny Finch, I know she's going to probably throw something like because it's part of her to the first pitch, just like gas the guy up. I'm going to take it. I ain't going to swing. Be stupid. I swing and be all missed. Or I might just swing and launch it. So we shall see.
I see a hospital visit or maybe a lot of Tylenol in your future.
Shit. Ice bath, something. I'm going to be sitting there. Hey, man, it's going to be tough physically, but it's fun. Why not? Go have some fun.
Well, you, Mike Cameron, King Felix will be there. Yeah. Brett Boone. I see The Miz will be there. A bunch of people I've never heard of as well, but you'll do some networking. And just going back to Seattle has to be kind of cool to be able to play on that field again.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously that was my first home field. And I was telling my kids there, I hit a big home run back in 2007 off Allen Embry, pinch hit home run. And I'm 21 years old and like pinch hitting for a guy with more service time. And just like it had really good memories. And then obviously playing against him so many times and just beating their ass. Ooh, they shouldn't have traded me. But no, I mean, obviously that's deeper, crazier out of the box. But no, it was always a great place. And it was really, to be honest with you, it was my favorite center field to play on the road because it was cool weather all the time. And it was an easy center field. It was just a round center field that played deep. It played big. So I could play shallow. And if you hit it over my head, you're going to have to hit it out the ballpark. And I still believe to this day, one of my best catches, it's against Miguel Olivo. Brian Mattis is pitching. I go over and make the over-the-shoulder catch. And Gary Thorne is like, hey!
And makes the catch! Oh, what a catch! Where's Willie?
Something with Willie Mays and all that kind of stuff. And the best part is that my cousins and brothers, we always did a boys trip to Seattle. Because we just always did that up there. And my cousin is standing right there as I make the catch. And then I come down, I catch the ball. You can see me look into the stands. I look at him. He was like, what? Boy, you just did that. And I looked at him. I was like, damn right I did that.
That catch was phenomenal. Yeah. I've seen it all over social media. And for those watching on YouTube, you'll get a chance to see it as well. We always encourage you to watch the podcast and not just listen. Now, about going to the All-Star Game, you've been to 5 of them. The Orioles sending 4, quite an honor. And what's it like first time you go out there? You a little nervous walking through that clubhouse?
Well, I think in today's era, it is completely different. It's because it's so many new All-Stars. It's a lot of young All-Stars. Then you obviously throw in the vets of the Trouts and the Goldschmidts, Arenados. You throw in the vets of guys like that. But now, when I was there, I had Derek Jeter, Posada, Mariano, Papelbon, Poppy, A-Rod. You know what I mean? You see
you were just walking into the Yankees or Red Sox locker room.
No, Ichiro, Vladdy Guerrero. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a different. These guys with 8, 9 consecutive All-Star games. It's a little different now. So it's like these guys come up together and they're buddies outside of the game. So it's like when they make it, it's like a brotherhood. Back then in All-Star games, them dudes still didn't really like each other. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we in the same clubhouse, okay, respect, you know what I mean? But hey, I got to take ground balls with Derek Jeter. I got to shag with Mariano Rivera. Obviously, you know, everybody knows he's notorious for shagging. But the one thing I took into all this is you have to sit in your locker and just stare at the room. You have to. And my first year, Obama came to St. Louis. And so, I mean, obviously I couldn't get up anyway. I ain't getting the tackle. But I sat in that room as he talked, and I just looked, just panned the room, just back and forth, like, yeah, I belong here. You damn right I belong here. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And that's what Hayes, Rutschman, Cano, and Bautista need to do. Sit there and just look around the room. Because, again, you're around the game's best. It is a pleasure and it is a treat to go to the All-Star Game. Don't take it for granted. Don't take it lightly. There's a lot of people that got to the All-Star Game early in their career and never made it back. There's a lot of guys with one All-Star. I was fortunate enough to get 5. A blessing. Each one was an absolute blessing. It got more expensive as they went because more and more family wanted to go. First one was just me and my mom's and my girlfriend at the time. Then after that is jets. Mom need a jet to come out of here. She got to have a jet to go back. I'm flying across country. I got to call the Orioles. I said, can I use y'all plane? Because y'all playing bigger. I can't, you know what I mean? So, but it was just an absolute blessing. It's the best inconvenience sports can ever give you is the All-Star Game.
Talking earlier with memorabilia, I got to ask you, what type of trinkets did you take home? Or as you got to maybe your 4th or 5th, you stopped worrying about that stuff?
No. So what the smart thing to do is you put your jerseys all in the balls out on the table. And me, I was like so young, so I'm like, no, I really want to get these guys to sign it. Jeter, he ain't signing it because it's just so much to do. These big dudes, they got so much going on. Not saying that he's mean or not just don't want to do it. It's Derek Jeter in the All-Star Game got so much going on. I was there at his last All-Star Game in 14. So much going on. Mariano's last All-Star Game in 13 in New York. I was there also. It's just so much going on. But I have all my jerseys all signed. I'm not sure every single person signed them, but the majority signed them. I have the baseballs from the All-Star Game, my home run derby jersey, bats that I used in the game. I got the memorabilia from, all of them. I got all 5 of my cleats from the All-Star Game, all 5 BP jerseys, all 5 game jerseys, and, all 5 batting gloves. So basically I have 5 uniforms, pants also, all 5 uniforms of all of my All-Star games.
Well, it's unfortunate. The one place you never got to play an All-Star Game at was Oriole Park at Camden Yards. I was fortunate to be at the one and only one back in 1993. Now, 30 years ago, and in those 3 decades, Pittsburgh, Colorado, Texas, and Cleveland have each held the Midsummer Classic twice. The Orioles, again, on a 3-decade drought. What gives?
We all know the real answer.
Yeah.
It depends on who wants to say it publicly.
Yeah.
We all know the real answer. We know the answer.
It can't just be an oversight.
But it can't, because even the 11 years I was there, I don't think there was even a conversation of bringing us there, bringing the All-Star Game there. You don't think, like, we was a really good team from 12 to 16. It would have been amazing to be able to host it as the center fielder, with Machado, with Davis, with our core group of guys, to be able to host the All-Star Game, put on for the city, bring people in, show like, okay, look at the city, a little rough on some edges, but we got some really good parts too. But obviously we know the real reason. It just sucks that during that time you never ever got to host, and that's the coolest thing is when a player gets to host. And again, it'd be like Trout. Trout hasn't hosted, but Julio Rodriguez, I don't think he's an All-Star this year, so he's not being able to host it. Like, that's the coolest thing, is to be the superstar hosting rather than like, okay, your team's hosting the city, but you're just an All-Star. No disrespect, you're an All-Star, but you're not the focal point All-Star. You're the one representative rather than the lead.
No, there's no doubt you would have been the ambassador had the All-Star Game taken place in Baltimore while you were playing there. And
I would have had a big gala at the house and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Know.
And then they would have just paid me all that stuff. And all of my friends who did the catering had it all planned out.
Oh, what could have been? What could have been? Baseball.
Hey, but you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
You know some people over there in Manhattan.
Right.
Talk to them.
And especially with hopefully with the improvements that should come to Camden Yards in the next few years, it should entice MLB to be like, okay, look it, they really improved it. It's still a beautiful ballpark with some improvements, and hopefully they can host it in a couple years.
Long overdue. What's not overdue is time to get to our Socially Speaking segment. It's where we answer a tweet or social media post, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. That's where you can find us at Adam Jones Pod, at Adam Jones Pod. Those who enter and those we select qualify for a Miss Shirley's gift card. And this week, it comes from the gram, as the kids call it, Instagram, via JC Dahade. Hopefully, JC, I got your last name right. JC writes, love the podcast, man. I'm a huge fan, not just of the podcast, but of you. I presume he's speaking about you and not me, because he said you did great for the Orioles and the organization and did great things in the community. And for that, I thank you. I haven't done a whole lot in the community. I haven't done too much to help the Orioles win games. So I presume it's about you.
You definitely ain't done nothing in the community, man. I don't know why.
I pay my taxes.
Hey, that's huge. You say, So you say.
First step.
So you say. But no, I appreciate that. I mean, everything is genuine. Nothing was forced. Is forced. When I do something, I genuinely do it. I don't care about the attention. Never have. And when it came to the sport, the same. Like my job was to perform at a job. It's Major League Baseball. I'm having fun every single day. I never really looked at it as a job until like the end of my career, when my body said, damn. But, the highlights of my career, me playing the best was generally just me out there, big old kid. That's why my smile was always big. You look at Lindor, like no matter if you go ups and downs, that's the sport, no matter what. It doesn't matter who you are, you're going to have ups and downs. But you get to play a kid's game for a living? Are you kidding me? Like, it's crazy how it goes so fast, but it's cool to still be connected to it and, try and help out this younger generation to prolong their careers as long as possible, because being able to play 14 years is a blessing. These dudes now, I mean, again, the Major League average is, I'm sure, 2.5, 3 years. So to be able to play as long as I did was an absolute blessing. It's just weird being 37 and retired, but awesome at the same time, because I sold a fraction of the business of Adam Jones. So now I need another business.
Well, you're in the business of podcasting, and JC, come on out and see us live July 27th. We want to thank our dedicated, loyal sponsors and remind you about that live performance coming to Baltimore Soundstage later this month. It'll be a one-of-a-kind evening. Let's hear more about it.
The Adam Jones Podcast with Adam Jones and Jerry Coleman will be live, and you can be part of the audience and meet Adam for the first time since he played for the O's. It all goes down on Thursday, July 27th at 8 p.m. Doors open at 7, and tickets are limited but now on sale. Go to BaltimoreSoundstage.com or Ticketmaster.com or call 410-244-0057 to be a part of the action. This will be the first time Adam and Jerry have done the podcast in the same spot, and who knows, maybe the last. So don't miss this unique night. The Adam Jones Podcast, live at Soundstage July 27th. See you there. By our good friends at the Weinman Company. By Hollywood Casino Perryville. For some, it's a game of chance, but for you, it's a game of choice. Hollywood and Barstool are bringing you more ways to bet in Maryland. Catch all the action in person at Hollywood Casino Perryville at the Barstool Sportsbook, or bet online with the Barstool Sportsbook app. When you download the Barstool Sportsbook app, register, and wager, you can get up to $1,000 bonus cash, plus up to $1,000 when you sign up and wager in person at Hollywood Casino Perryville. Play from anywhere and get up to $2,000. The choice is yours. Must be in the state of Maryland to wager and over 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER. By Jack Daniel's, 2 legends, 1 can. Jack and Coke, the #1 cocktail in the world, is now available in a can. Yes, that's true. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey, mixed with Coca-Cola or Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, are now both available in a can. 2 legends, 1 can. Jack and Coke, ready to drink? Please drink responsibly. Whiskey Specialty, 7% alcohol by volume. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey, Lynchburg, Tennessee. By G-Leaf, medical cannabis only. Visit gleaf.com. Medical cannabis is for qualified Maryland patients only. The Adam Jones Podcast is brought to you by Royal Farms. Download the Royal Farms app from the Apple App Store or Google Play today. New Royal Farms Rewards members will get a free any-size cup of Royal Farms award-winning coffee just for signing up.
Sure smells like Royal Farms fried chicken.
Best fast food fried chicken in America. You ever try it? Hey, you hungry? Royal Farms world famous chicken. If you haven't tried it, you don't know what you're missing.
And a reminder, if you guys are enjoying this podcast, make sure to check out the Baltimore Banner at thebaltimorebanner.com/AJ to get started. Again, that's thebaltimorebanner.com/AJ to get 6 months of unlimited digital access for only $1.
Thanks to senior executive producer Chip Franklin for putting this whole mess together and making it look so nice. You want to hear about Chip's baseball career? Take an hour out of your time. He'll tell you all about it. Until next time, be safe, be kind, be real. We're taking a week off. It's our first week off since we started this podcast. Adam's going to be going to the All-Star Game. I'm going under the knife to remove some bad skin. Apply that sunscreen, kids. It's very important. We'll see you next week in 2 weeks on the Adam Jones Podcast.